I talked about a region pricing and prim distribution over a year ago. What's different now is context. A recent Reddit post showing the Second Life main grid shrinking landed as a simple data point. People weren't nostalgic or panicking. They were asking practical questions about cost, value, and sustainability. Real life has gotten more expensive. Subscriptions add up. People are selective about what they keep paying for, especially when a product hasn't adapted to how it's actually used. In that environment, long-standing quirks stop feeling harmless and start feeling inefficient. This isn't about predicting Second Life's end. A chart doesn't mean a platform is dying, but it does confirm something many residents have been feeling quietly for a while. Land is harder to justify. Not because people care less, but because the value equation hasn't kept pace with how land is used in 2026. When I first raised this topic, the conversation was mostly theoretical. Now it's grounded in visible trends, repeated feedback, and economic reality. That's why it's worth revisiting to look at the same system with clearer information. If this were just about price, the discussion would already be over. It isn't. It's about structure, incentives, and whether Second Life's land model still matches the world people are building today. The real problem: you're paying premium prices for basic value. Here's the issue that's been frustrating the community for years. Homesteads cost more than half the price of a full region, but you only get 5,000 prims. You're paying over 50% of the cost, but receiving barely 25% of the capacity. That's a pricing imbalance that's been accepted for far too long. The 5,000 prim limit sounds generous until you try to live with it. A house, some landscaping, a dock, a boat, a few functional objects, and suddenly every decision becomes about what to remove. You're no longer building creatively, you're constantly negotiating with the limit. That kind of friction wears people down. Prims are the most visible expression of value in Second Life. They're the limit people run into daily. No one logs in thinking about server architecture or back-end infrastructure. They log in, try to place one more thing, and hit a wall. When that wall feels arbitrary, especially when you're already paying premium prices, people don't optimize forever. They compromise for a while, then they downsize, or they give up land altogether. It happens quietly, one cancelled region at a time. This is why feedback about 5,000 prims keeps resurfacing year after year. It's not entitlement and it's not ignorance about costs. It's users signaling that the pricing doesn't match the value delivered. What should change? 10,000 prims for standard homesteads. The solution is straightforward. Standard homesteads should offer 10,000 prims. This isn't asking for something free. This is asking for fair value on money already being spent. If homesteads cost more than half what a full region costs, the prim allowance should reflect that. 10,000 prims doesn't give you everything a full region offers, but it gives you enough space to actually build a life in Second Life without constantly hitting artificial limits. Before someone argues this would be too expensive for Linden Lab, it wouldn't. Prim limits don't directly reflect server cost. A region's baseline cost exists whether it's full or empty. The server is allocated, networking is live, asset system is active. A few thousand more prims doesn't double expenses. What actually affects cost is concurrency, script load, and physics calculations, none of which map cleanly to prim count. A sparsely decorated region hosting an event can be far heavier than a richly built one sitting quietly. By treating prim count as a proxy for cost, we're focusing on a number people can see instead of systems that actually matter. The real question isn't whether Linden Lab can afford to increase prim limits. It's whether they can afford not to when people are quietly abandoning land because the value equation doesn't work anymore. 10,000 prims for standard homesteads makes the pricing fair. It gives people room to build without constant compromise. It makes land ownership feel sustainable instead of restrictive. And it addresses feedback the community has been giving consistently for years. Won't this disrupt the rental market? No. People rent from land barons because they can't buy directly from Linden Lab. They only want a parcel. Or they want a homestead without Premium Plus membership. Giving standard homesteads 10,000 prims doesn't change those reasons. Land barons continue serving the same market they always have. What this does is correct a pricing imbalance that's been pushing people out of land ownership entirely. Those people aren't renting from land barons. They're not in the market at all. Bringing fair pricing doesn't take business away from anyone. It brings people back to the grid. The real threat to land barons is the slow erosion of the land market as people decide ownership isn't worth it anymore. A healthier entry-level option strengthens the entire ecosystem by keeping people invested in land. Premium Plus, a separate conversation with multiple valid paths. Now, there's a secondary suggestion here that's worth discussing. Premium Plus could have its own homestead tier. This wouldn't replace the standard homestead fix. This would be an additional option exclusive to Premium Plus members. There are several ways Linden Lab could structure this, and honestly, they're all valid approaches. Option 1. A Premium Plus exclusive homestead with 7,000 to 7,500 prims at a discounted price. Maybe 10 to 15% less than standard homesteads. The benefit is the lower cost and the ability to own it standalone without needing a full region first. It feels exclusive, it's more affordable, and it gives Premium Plus a clear land advantage. Option 2. Keep the same 10,000 prims and the same pricing as standard homesteads, but the Premium Plus benefit is simply the standalone access. You don't need to own a full region first. You're paying for the convenience and flexibility of direct ownership. Option 3. A premium tier with 12,000 to 15,000 prims at a higher price point. You pay more than a standard homestead, but you get significantly more capacity and standalone access. This creates a true mid-tier option between standard homesteads and full regions. Any of these could work. They each have different appeals depending on what Linden Lab prioritizes: exclusivity, accessibility, or premium positioning. The point isn't to dictate exactly how Premium Plus homesteads should work. The point is that there are multiple viable paths forward. Linden Lab can look at these options, run the numbers, consider their business model and technical capabilities, and choose what makes the most sense. What matters is that Premium Plus gets something that feels like real added value around land ownership, and that it doesn't undermine the fundamental fix that standard homestead owners need. Linden Lab could even pilot this conservatively by testing one approach with a limited number of regions, gather data, adjust if needed. There's flexibility here. But let me be absolutely clear. This is the bonus suggestion. The primary issue is standard homesteads costing more than half the price of a full region while delivering a quarter of the value. That's what needs to be fixed first, regardless of what happens with Premium Plus. Understanding the real cost. Before someone suggests, just move to OpenSim, it's not comparable. Second Life costs more because it does more. Persistent world, real economy, global infrastructure, supporting thousands of concurrent users. OpenSim is cheaper because the demand is lower. But higher cost doesn't excuse poor product design. The platform's scale explains baseline pricing. It doesn't justify charging premium prices while delivering basic value. What does cost Linden Lab is people leaving. Every cancelled homestead is lost revenue. Every person who decides land ownership isn't worth it anymore is a customer who might not come back. The grid shrinking is a warning sign. Fixing the homestead pricing imbalance isn't generosity, it's good business. It's recognizing that when people feel they're getting fair value, they stay. When they feel they're being overcharged, they leave. Final thoughts. Linden Lab has built a platform that survived 2 decades. That longevity comes from knowing when a system needs to adapt. The grid is shrinking. The community has been clear about what they need. The solution isn't complicated. Standard homesteads at 10,000 prims, Premium Plus with its own exclusive tier, however Linden Lab wants to structure it. Check the description for a poll link to vote on which Premium Plus option makes the most sense. If it's not there yet, refresh in a few hours. Let's show Linden Lab what the community actually wants. You're charging premium prices. Deliver premium value. The question is whether this happens proactively, or whether we wait until the slow, quiet exodus becomes impossible to ignore.